Okay, next lesson takes us to percent of change. Prior to this, we have looked at proportions, percent of proportions, and also the percent equation. So now we want to look at taking some actual look at something when it either is going to increase, the percent is going to increase or decrease over time. Well, let's just jump right on into it. 2 months ago, the bicycle shop sold 50 bicycles. Last month, 55 bikes were sold. So they're asking us to find the percent of change and state whether the percent of change is an increase or a decrease. So let's take a look at our 3 steps. Excuse me. Okay, step 1. Step 1, we want to subtract to find the amount of change. I'm going to go ahead and write that for us. Subtract to find the amount of change. Okay, so what are we going to subtract? We're going to subtract 50 from 55 because last month there was 55 bikes sold, so we have 55, and 2 months ago there were 50. Okay, so that's going to tell us a difference in 5 bikes. Okay, well, step 2. With step 2, we want to write a ratio that compares the amount of change to the original number of bikes. So we want to write a ratio. I'm going to write this down, so give me a minute. We want to write a ratio that compares the amount So we're comparing the amount of change So we're comparing the amount of change to the original. To the original number of bikes. Okay. So that's our second step. So the original amount is the first amount, which was 50. So our ratio will be 5 over 50. Okay. Now, step 3. Tells us we want to write the ratio as a percent. Okay, and here's how we will do it. We will look at 50 on the outside divided by 5 decimal, the 0. That's going to go 0 times decimal, and that's 1. So that'll be 50 and 0. So my ratio as a percent will equal to 0.1 or 10% because the 1 is in the 10th place, or 10%. Okay, so the percent of change for the bikes is actually 10%. Now, as we go through the work some exercises, I am going to give you the actual, and I believe this formula is vital. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and just do that now, so we won't have problems with that as we go forward. So we call this the percent of change formula, and I'm going to put it here. And that's going to equal to the amount of change divided by the original amount. Okay, again, percent of change formula. Here it is, right here. I keep putting my hand on that little button. Percent of change formula is percent of change is equal to the amount of change over the original amount. Well, let's just go. Well, that's right. We did not answer a question. Thank you for bringing that up. Now, because it says state whether its percent of change is an increase or a decrease. So, since the new amount is greater than the original amount, so what's the new amount? 55. Since 55 is greater than 50, let's do that. Since 55 is greater than 50, this is the new amount. This is the original amount. We have a percent of increase. All right. So let's go and work some problems.